Welcome to Ellie Goldsmith's Relationship Flow. We are in our third episode, starring our special guest, Teeny Pops, aka Wifey. Say hello.
Hi.
We're very excited today as we're sitting in a car park near a quite, scenic area of Yerushalayim, of Jerusalem. It's a hot day, and we're just taking a bit of time before we go back to get ready for Shabbat. And we're talking now about going ahead. Keep going, I think would be the right title. What do you say about that? Keeping going.
I'm waiting for you.
Okay, so I'm going to introduce the concept because we've already, thank God, did 2 episodes together. It's a big honor to have my soulmate join me on a third one. And once you've got to that number 3, as I'm the third born in my family, that's a real establishment. That's a chazaka, as they say in Hebrew. Like you've reached a certain strength, like a 3-ply cord doesn't break so easy. So once we've got this third episode recorded and posted, I feel pretty comfortable that we're like on to something here, and thankfully people are listening and we appreciate that. We'd like to hear some feedback as well. That always makes a big difference, and we always put those details below, and that might be a part of keep going. But right now, how would we discuss keep going? I think one of the challenges is that we spoke in the previous one, the first one at start was just about getting started, literally, like going and doing it. And then there's the emotional stamina that we worked on in the second episode of regrouping, that my wifey very cleverly titled. And then now we're at that point when we've regrouped that we should hopefully have the energy to keep going.
Consistency.
Yeah, it goes together with consistency. Like it's something now that's, in sort of completion on some level, that when you get to 3, like the idea that it's a number of completion, as we know from our forefathers, Abraham, Yitzhak, Yaakov, there's a certain establishment in the world, 3 pillars, you can't really sit on a chair with 2 legs, you've got to have 3 legs at least. And that's the idea that, we're doing something that we want to establish. Our relationship should have a flow and should establish with strong foundations, and our conversations should be something that people out there want to join us and go ahead with. So that's what we're doing today. We're going ahead and keep going. So how can my wifey contribute?
Well, like what I said, consistency, I think that's really, really important. In all the ideas are great ideas, at least if we say our conversations were the past 2 times of just getting started, emotional stamina, regrouping, but it's not just like a one-time thing. It's being consistent with things, and but one doesn't have to. One can choose one thing to be consistent with, and then you can add on. In terms of keeping going, if one does too many things or tries to work on too many things within themselves, or try do too many things at one time, it can be a bit harder to be consistent, or one can think, how can I keep going, it's all too much, or it's too overwhelming, there's just no point, because one's trying to do too many things at the same time, or it is overwhelming, or you just don't have the time with the emotional space for it. I believe to keep going is to at least to choose 1 or 2 things to be consistent with, and then you regroup and you see if that is working for you, and if it's not, you see how you can make it better. You don't just give up, you see how you can make it better for yourself, how it will work better for you and who you're with. But that's what's worked for me. I don't know what you think about that.
So I think like keeping going is that concept of consistency alongside a goal and motivational development in yourself, that you want to accomplish certain realities in this world. You're not just here just to pass through and survive. Like you have a larger goal and drive to succeed.
There's different compartments and categories, like in terms of keep going, it's like quite broad, but and even when I'm talking about consistency, but there's so many different levels. There's your emotional side of things, there's the spiritual side of things, there's the physical side of things, and even within all that there's different categories underneath that. So there's so many, you could say self-care, and then you could just take, even your routine of when you take off your makeup at night and you wash your face and you put on your moisturizer, but there's so many levels of that. Like some would be, I don't even, that's just so, there's so many things that you could do, so it's just so hard. But sometimes what I believe is to keep simple, to keep it simple for me, to keep going, to be consistent. It's just to don't complicate things. Just keep it simple. Like say if I said like your nighttime skincare routine, just take a face wash and a moisturizer.
That's why.
Otherwise, you're not gonna do it at all. If you want to.
But that's
add
why
on
I like
all the extra things. I'm just saying that as an example, and that's.
Yeah, but that's why I like to kiss. Why do I like to kiss? Because kiss is the first letter. Keep it simple, stupid. Yeah, that's the first letter. Keep it simple, stupid. Yes. I have to say something a little bit shocking for a minute. No, but it's a famous acronym, or whatever the word is, acronym, because we want to keep it simple, stupid. Like we don't want life to get overly complicated, and we often create.
Well, we complicate things for ourselves.
Yeah.
And we're going to see things in front of us, especially now with technology and social media. We're going to see so much different things in front of us, and we're thinking we're not doing enough. Like even our holiday, like we went away, so we didn't go to some paradise island. We drove an hour and a half or less to a sea resort, in Israel, Netanya specifically, and it was near your father, so we got to see him, which was really nice, and your stepmother, and it was really, really nice to do that. But we didn't have the stress of traveling that people have to go through nowadays with all the corona stories, so that's great. We also decided an hour before we were going to go.
That was also beautiful about it.
It wasn't planned. And we're not such spontaneous people generally, but sometimes, because when one overthinks things, okay, well, even say financially, if one can't, if going to, the ideal place you want to go is not financially in your means at that point, then sometimes people are like, okay, well then we just can't go. But sometimes just keeping it simple and real, okay, it's fine, we'll go to a cheaper place, we'll go to something more simple, because we've got the beach and we, have other facilities elsewhere that will make it good. And
it was really nice.
And then you create
we kept it simple, and we kept it moving.
Then we were able to just decide at the last minute, okay, why not? Let's just do it. Let's just go and do it.
Like the week before, I flew to London with an hour before, going to the airport, deciding to do so with flight agent's advice, and just keeping life simple and flowing, rather than in the past everything had to be so mapped out, and we had to have so many months in advance bookings, and everything was so much more expensive, and how we did things, because it has to be done in a more fancy place.
We're still very organised, and we're very, which is probably why we could do it, because
I did donate my charger to someone there, because I left it there.
But I think what you can keep it simple if you have boundaries, and you have routine, and you are more organised, and then you're able to keep things simple and just sometimes just do something at the last minute, because you have the infrastructure within your.
But let's get to our relationship. So the idea of keeping going, like in a relationship, because sometimes. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, he's a famous singer.
It is, isn't it? That's him, right?
Yeah, that's him. He lives around here. Well, that's cool. Got to see one of our favourite musicians. But so music definitely brings a lot of energy into our relationship, as well as obviously renewal in our.
You want to bring it into our relationship because we both have we try to keep things simple and keep things real within who we are and what we need. Then it's much easier to have a flow and keep going, because we're clear of we have clear communication. We're clear of who we are and what we want and what even bothers us about each other. We can laugh about it as well. Do you know what I'm saying? Do you know what I'm saying? It's like there's able to be a flow, because we're.
Like today we were discussing something you're passionate about, and I was discussing about something that I'm not so passionate about right now. But just even the talking it out, it just helps clarify a bit more It helps us understand a little bit more what we're going through in our minds.
Yeah, talking it out. We're talking things
having
out,
that
communication.
time, having that
and that's where the
time.
regrouping is. We sit together and we talk things out.
That's why the previous one was really important.
We really talk, because then you can have the emotional stamina to keep going, as long as you have your regrouping with each other to kind of talk about what's going on within yourselves. And and that's what the keeping going is, because you're being consistent within those rituals. I guess it's rituals. You have your
healthy rituals in the
rituals in your relationship, that
special time.
Yeah.
And also, like, for example, during the holiday time, to have that quality time, you have to sometimes say no to work. You know, you can't always be on call, even though nowadays we have these phones and they like sort of pull us in. But we have to be able to like be strong and make boundaries. And thank God, like for a few hours, I was able to just be on the beach or be in the pool. I didn't touch my phone for like, I think it was about 2 hours, and it was just really healthy for me to just say goodbye.
Really big.
And just be in the water and just play with the kids, or when we went ice skating, fine. Then I was on my phone because it was funny.
You were on your phone. That's not
first half I wasn't.
Example.
First half I wasn't, and I was very focused on the kids, even with the phone.
You were.
And the people who were watching me on the Zoom thing were laughing, like, how can he be on the phone talking to us while he's holding his kids' hands and skating in a busy ice rink? It was pretty nuts.
The multi-function.
Yeah, it was pretty crazy what I was doing. But the point was, all these different little things, like there's little outings to somewhere different, and just having those different flows, it does give energy and renewal.
Yeah, because we talk about being consistent,
and we have to think about that after the experience. We have to internalize it. Like Shabbat comes every week, Shabbos comes, and we get now an opportunity, instead of thinking about what we're missing, let's think about what we did and internalize
it's so important to
it. And it doesn't always have to be looking at pictures, because we do have some beautiful pictures. That helps as well.
Yesterday, after we went ice skating and we had come back from our holiday, we had to rush into the regular routine of things.
To go into work.
And it was really hard. It was like this, we didn't have the time to internalize our experience, and so we're making sure to do that now. That's why we're having this conversation, to kind of internalize.
That's really what this podcast is about, and hopefully it will be a role model for other people's relationships and give people hope. You know, we're very different people. I was speaking about it in our Zula with the Zoom chat that I'm on. Very different. Like, my wife's much more grounding, much more normal, much more into real life, and I'm very abstract and very floaty and into the arts. And
I'm also very creative and artistic.
Yeah, you are. Well. There is that point that we meet, and we found, even though musically had a lot of different tastes, we found a lot of mutual music. But we had to work on that. It was initially easy. Like, I didn't marry that hippie girl that I'm more would be inclined to, like in a textbook sense, but I had to marry someone who would help complete me and be the opposite of me in many things. And that's the beauty of relationships. And after being married 20 years almost, you know, we went past our 20th anniversary last week, and now we're heading towards our 20th that was our engagement, now our 20th wedding anniversary. That's a big, signpost, Hanukkah time, and we're not so far. You think Hanukkah, that's a whole nother part of the year, but if you think about where we're heading right now, it's like coming up to Elul, and then it's going to be the Holy Days, and then I might be traveling a little bit, and then we're already in Hanukkah. Like, it just flies, time flies, and that'll be 20 years married. That's a big thing.
Well, I also want to just add in, So I
feel that can help inspire people that marriage is possible nowadays, especially when people are so different. And there are some hard moments with us.
Really hard moments, and it's just, but keeping the communication.
Even on the holiday, the pictures look nice, but we're having some hard times before and after,
but like what we said in the other times,
kids or whatever.
It's just then being able to just communicate and not then blaming the other person for what you're feeling, or that your different
being
triggers.
honest with what we're feeling.
I'm feeling like this right now. Yesterday he had to go straight back to work after we had gone ice skating.
I had prepared you before.
Yeah, but and for me, I found that transition hard. And I said, but no, that's not your fault. Like,
because I had to keep going with what I had to do, which was work.
But just to quickly end off, because I think we can prolong it. But when I say about being consistent and keeping things simple, it doesn't mean that it should be boring. Like, you try add in different things to your life, to do things here and there that you enjoy, that are exciting, that you can do together.
Yeah, you have to do that also with your intimate life as well. Yeah. We've spoken about that when I had my intimacy series, and maybe we'll do a little bit together with Wifey. But the idea of that being fresh and inspiring is also really important. And having to renew the relationship, that's the beauty of marriage, doing it the right way in terms of having 2 weeks on, 2 weeks off, or whatever the exact amount of days is on and off. The idea of on and off is a very powerful renewal to it, and to realize that there's a beauty to the relationship, that it grows and gets deeper and deeper, and that's something which people can, when you externalize your intimacy and your relationship, then you lose that deeper depth, that you're going inside deeper and deeper into personalities, and you're finding deeper and deeper parts of each other you didn't know. Like, I was watching my wife ice skate, and she was just like in her flow. Like, I've never seen a person do that, and it's another side of my wife that is inspiring. Like, when she gets into her exercise, she gets into a flow. It's a certain energy and focus, and putting her whole heart into what she does, and I can learn from that, that focus and that wholesomeness. And everyone has different aspects, and you can learn to love the other parts of your partner, and I think that's really powerful. Well, let's end off this class. I think we said a lot of nice things.
It's not a class, it's a conversation.
Conversation, sorry, yeah.
We're just sharing our conversation.
Sharing, 100%. Yeah, so we're going to keep the conversation going. We'd like you to come join us again and keep sharing this on to your friends, and hopefully the more feedback we get, the more interesting it will get. I mean, it's up to everyone out there to help add to the conversation, because that's one of the beauties of podcasts, that it's not just between the two people on the podcast, but it's whoever's listening in as well can contribute also. So anything else you want to say? Goodbye, have a good one, enjoy your Shabbat, and we'll look forward to see you next week around this time. Bye.